Hi, I'm Emma. Thank you for joining me for this sequence, which is designed to just bring a little bit of movement to your body. Perhaps you've been sitting for long periods of time, or you're just feeling a bit kind of icky and stagnant. So we're moving with the breath, we're stretching, a little bit of strengthening, but nothing too vigorous. So I hope you will enjoy it. As always, chunky boys are here, so you may like to have a block or a big book handy. And I'm also sitting up on a thinner block, a Slim Jim. So if you find sitting up unsupported pretty challenging, perhaps you find yourself leaning back like this, then I recommend taking the time to find something that you can sit up on. So once you've got your stuff together, I will meet you on the mat and we'll get started. Okay, so we're beginning in a comfortable cross-legged position. As I say, comfortable may mean using support. Generally, having your hips higher than your knees is the key to sitting up more comfortably with a tall spine. And we'll take some time to settle and arrive here. So you can roll your shoulders up, back and down, just making sure that you are evenly rooted into both of your sit bones. And if you're comfortable too, then allow your eyes to gently close or just soften your gaze in front of you slightly. And this may be the first time today that you are meeting yourself. So meet yourself. And by that, I mean really recognizing that you are in your body and that your body is sitting here. So feeling the connection between your sit bones and whatever it is you're sitting on. And perhaps tuning into the texture of your mat at your bare feet. The sensation of your hands resting on your thighs. And picking up any sounds that are around you. No need to judge them or wish for things to be quieter. Just meeting this moment as it is. Perhaps, like me, you're sitting in a sunbeam and you can feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. Noticing the light at your eyelids. And as you settle now, tuning into your breath. As you bring awareness to your breath, perhaps you notice that you naturally breathe a little deeper. Welcome this. Explore this, perhaps deepening a little more with each inhalation and emptying a little more with each exhalation. No need to tense at your shoulders or your jaw. One more breath here. Sigh it out. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed for this next bit, and indeed perhaps for portions of the practice. I tend to practice with my eyes closed quite a lot. It just helps me tune into me. So I may do that here. You're very welcome to do the same. On your next inhaling breath, reach your arms up And there's no need for your palms to touch. That can bring some tightness and crunchiness to the shoulders. So give yourself space here. Let your palms face forward and spread your fingers. Notice if you're lifting up, keep yourself anchored down, rooting down into your sit bones, heavy legs. Draw your navel in towards your spine. Draw your front ribs in more. And then lift your chest a little more. Spread your fingers wide. Perhaps you've been typing, texting, gripping a steering wheel. Feel the webbing between your fingers, even the spaces between your fingers. Inhale, reach your chest a little more, perhaps your hands draw slightly back. As you exhale, let your right fingertips come down beside you as your left hand now reaches overhead, coming into a side bend here through the left side of your body. No need to be stagnant here or still, just explore. You may like to roll your chest up towards the ceiling. Or perhaps for you it's more effective to roll more down towards the floor. We're creating space. Inhale, windmill your arms up and over, straight to the other side. Keep your right sitting bone heavy, your right thigh heavy. Keep spreading your fingers here. And inhale, come back up. Bring your left hand now to your right knee as your right fingertips swing back behind you. Inhale to find a nice tall spine, and as you exhale, come round into a twist. Be mindful of your neck here, there's no need to strain. But to take your eyes round with you. Stretching muscles in your eyes that perhaps you don't give much thought to, but are working so hard, particularly perhaps more than ever, all your Zoom meetings, procrastination, if you're anything like me, in YouTube. Inhale as you come back round to center, and we'll go straight over to the other side. So your right hand comes to your left knee, your left fingertips come back behind you. Connect to your breath here, allowing your tummy to fill, but also perhaps tuning into the sensation of opening across your upper back. And inhale, gently release back to center. Take your hands back behind you, come up onto your fingertips, so your fingers are pointing away from you. Press into your fingertips as you lift your chest up. No need here to fling your head back, be mindful of your neck. But do lift your face up, perhaps to an imaginary sun, or maybe you're lucky enough that the sun really is shining today. Breathe that in. Inhale, press your fingers into the mat as you lift a little more. Exhale here. And then bring yourself back up. Moving to all fours now. And if you were sitting on something, removing that. Tuck your toes under, walk your hands slightly more forward, and send your hips up to downward facing dog. Now, if this is your first one of the day, as it basically is for me, keep your knees bent and pedal your feet. Press firmly into your hands, particularly between index finger and thumb. If you find this pose horrific, I understand. We won't be here for much longer, I promise. It does get easier in time, but how can you make it easier for yourself right now? One more breath. Inhale here. As you exhale, lower your knees down. Allow your tummy to drop towards the floor as your tailbone lifts and your head lifts. Cow belly. Exhale, curl in, angry cat. Inhale, cow belly. Exhale, angry cat, and we'll repeat this flow a few times. You can, of course, sway a little from side to side if that feels good. Pause anywhere along the way. Inhaling to open and exhale to close. And come now to your neutral spine. Tuck your toes under and walk your hands in towards your thighs as you come to sit on your heels, coming into a toe squat. You may manually need to adjust your toes to make sure everyone's invited. I promise we won't be here for long. I know this is intense, but it is so beneficial. And this is another one. As with many, many poses in yoga, the more you practice, the easier these poses become. If this is already super intense, then lift your hips up. Otherwise, we'll stay here just for a few more breaths, but let's bring some more into it, give you something else to think about. So draw your hands back behind you, clasp your hands, no need for your palms to touch. And imagine your hands are weighted, so they drop down towards the floor, and that action has the result of your chest lifting. Draw your navel in towards your spine. So the back bend is predominantly coming from your upper back. One more breath here. Exhale. Release your hands. Come forward once again and gently release your feet onto the mat, and you can tap them. Ooh. There we go. Again, walk your hands a little bit more forward. Tuck your toes under. Downward facing dog once again. But now walk your feet in a few inches, so you're in a shortened downward facing dog. Your feet are about 2 fist widths apart. Press down firmly into your right hand. And now bring your left hand perhaps to your right thigh, your shin, or even your right ankle as you come into a twist. So you're sort of peeking round underneath your right armpit. Keep pressing the mat away with your right hand. Your dog is short enough that you have the support of your legs here, so you're not carrying all your weight just on your right hand. That would be a lot. One more breath. Release your left hand and we'll go straight to the other side. So now your right hand comes somewhere to your left leg as you twist round here. Keep your hips lifting up and back behind you, deepening the crease up at your thighs. Inhale, unwind your twist, plant your right hand and step your right foot forward to the top of your mat. Step your left foot more back behind you. Your left toes are about what would we say, maybe 1 o'clock on a clock face. And reach for a block. You might want to have one handy. As you rise up to warrior two, so your right knee stays bent, and pull your right hip under you. Bend your right knee, press down firmly into your back foot, and as you inhale, reach your arms out. Take your gaze over your right middle finger and keep pressing your right knee to the outer edge of your mat. Inhale here. As you exhale, send your hips behind you as you straighten your right knee and reach your right fingers more forward. When you can't go any more forward and your hips can't go any more back, allow your right hand to drop down. We're coming in to Trikonasana, triangle pose. So the idea here is we have a stretch going on in our inner thigh of the front leg, and there's a side body stretch here. So rather than worrying about reaching your hand down, sometimes this happens as we're so keen to get down to the floor. Give yourself permission to use support so that you can open up here. And just as we did in our seated posture at the beginning, explore moving here, rolling your chest up towards the ceiling. How can you get a nice stretch through the left side of your body? I'm going to take my left bicep over my left ear. Side stretch. Let your left hand come down. Bring yourself up. And let your right toes point forward. And bring your block in front of you. Inhale, reach your arms up. Take up space. Once again, here we are. Spread your fingers wide. Tuck your tailbone under. Lift your chest. As you exhale, bring your hands to your hips and use that as a guide to send your hips back behind you as you forward fold. And perhaps your hands come down onto a block or onto the floor, and the crown of your head drops down. Keep firm in your feet. Shift the weight into your toes. One more breath here. Inhale, come up halfway and bring your left hand down onto the mat or onto your block. Inhale, sweep your right hand up towards the ceiling. Give yourself space here in the left side of your neck, so draw your shoulder away from your ear. Strong legs, strong feet. Inhale, come out of your twist and replace your left hand with your right hand as you now open up to the left. So we're finding ease as much as we are exploring our possibilities of movement. So you're never straining or forcing anything here. Inhale, come back round to center. Bend your knees and roll up. Let your left toes open up, and you may need to adjust, just taking your right heel ever so slightly further out. Dropping your block down. But before we head to Trikonasana, warrior two first. So bending your left knee. Notice your shoulders stacking over your hips. We kind of have a tendency to make funny shapes here. So finding that alignment, opening across your chest. Gaze over your left middle fingers. And then straighten your left knee, send your hips back as you reach your left hand forward. And then down. I like to keep a micro bend in my front knee in Trikonasana and to really press down into my toes. And this stops me overstretching the back of my knee. And then explore here. I love to lean back, send my hips a little bit more forward. Be firm in your back leg. Reaching your right arm over your right ear. Inhale, come up. Move your block out of the way. And we'll heel toe our feet in to about outer hip width apart and let your toes point out. We're coming down into a squat, and you're very welcome to keep your heels lifted as you make your way down. And certainly to make my way down, there's a little bit of maneuvering. And then find yourself in your malasana, your squat, and bring your arms to the inside of your legs, bringing your palms together. Press your arms into your knees as your knees press into your arms. Pause here and connect to your breath. Relax your jaw. And release your hands and take them behind you just to support yourself in coming down onto your seat. Straighten your legs, give them a shake. And then recross your legs now with your right shin in front of you. So rather than the school assembly leg position, we're going to make a slight variation. So having your shins more parallel and in front of you, and slide your knees more in towards the middle, in towards each other. Your right foot is in front of your left knee. Now some of you may comfortably stack your shins, your right foot resting on your left knee. The intention of this next pose is to find a nice stretch in your outer hips. So only take this option if this serves you. This is not the intention, this isn't where we're working towards. So I like to keep my right foot in front of my knee and then come forward. You may feel this as a stretch in both outer hips, or perhaps more just at your right outer hip. And settle down here. You may like to rest your head in your hands. Relax your jaw. You may once again like to close your eyes. Walk your hands in. Take your hands behind you now. Uncross your legs. Sway from side to side. And then we'll repeat that on the other side. So now it's your left leg that is in front. Again, it might be worth exploring stacking your shins. But no better pose. There's just what's effective. And then coming forward. And you may like to adjust where you lean your torso to find the most effective stretch for you. Once you have that, stay here, settle down. Notice if you're clenching anywhere And your fingers perhaps, or your toes, your abdomen. Let it go. Inhale, come up. Making our way now onto our backs. So as you come down, you might like to bring your knees with you and make any adjustments you need to, perhaps rolling your knees in circles from side to side. And then straighten one leg, then the other. Rest your arms by your sides. And let it all go. No more effort. Even concentration. Don't need to try. Don't need to be any more relaxed than you naturally are. Just allow yourself to rest here. If you have the time and the inclination, then of course you are welcome to stay here. If you are ready to bring your practice to a close, then gently begin to introduce gentle movement, re-anchoring yourself in this present moment. Stretch and yawn. You choose whether you roll to one side or roll straight up. And together we will close our practice, resting attention on your heart center. So bringing your hands to your chest and tuning into your heartbeat. And please join me in bowing your head to your heart. in a gesture of gratitude, recognizing and acknowledging all that you have and all that you are. Thank you so much for joining me.